Okay, so let's start a SIG scheduling meeting, and let's start with our planning and agenda for the next release cycle. So I can give you a little bit of update about some of the stuff that I'm aware. One with regards to equivalence cache. Actually, Harry has written a document. He shared a document actually with me, and I commented the document and did minor changes to the document. He's going to send it soon to other folks. I mean, to the SIG, so that other people can take a look as well. So the idea here is that we are going to change the equivalence cache design so that it's more appropriate, basically for clusters that have a lot of equivalence pods that cannot be scheduled, and instead of a scheduler trying to schedule all of these pods again and again, it tries one of these pods, and if the pod turns out to be unschedulable, the rest of them won't be tried. So that's the idea behind the new equivalence cache design. We are hoping that we can get some performance improvement out of this new design, and of course select scenarios, not in all scenarios, of course. The previous design was expected to help us in more or less larger or broader number of scenarios, but it turns out that our scheduler predicates are already fast enough, or most of them are fast enough, so that the equivalence cache didn't make a whole lot of sense. So with the new design, we are hoping that we can address those issues. Gang scheduling. So I know that there has been a lot of progress on gang scheduling. We are close to finalizing the design, and we think that the KEP is almost ready, but I let Klaus to speak about that himself. Klaus?
Oh, okay. Yeah. We have several round review about the KEP. I think the API overall the API is here, and we also have agreement on the transaction part. There are some corner case that we are need to thinking about, such as because of gun scheduling, the task maybe the resource maybe hold fail well, so maybe have a timeout or maybe some other things. And there also have some comments about the life cycle of pod group. Yeah, I think for this for the first version of gun scheduling, we may have control the scope of that proposal, and for some corner case or some enhancement, we are going to open the other KEP or the other design document to clarify and to enhance in next step.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, thank you very much for your efforts.
Okay, thank you.
So, I've already put this other item in our spreadsheet as well. We're planning to implement a couple of, or at least one, probably two extension points in the current scheduler as a part of the features that we would like to build from the scheduling framework. So with these extension points, we will also design the interface for the plugins, in-process plugins. And we're hoping that after we build this, we will be able to make some of these existing hard-coded pieces of scheduling, particularly dynamic resource allocation or dynamic resource binding, convert those to a plugin. So that's our hope. We will see how much we can achieve in the next quarter. And this quarter, as many of you know, is a shorter quarter. It's much shorter given the New Year holidays and the code freeze and everything, which usually happens a little earlier than before. So we will see how much we can get in before the next code freeze. We are also finalizing the design of pod scheduling policies. You may be aware that we've been working with this with the policy work group, and we are finalizing the design of scheduling policies. Yasin has been working on that. The document is updated. I'll take a look soon at the document, and hopefully we can approve it soon. So far, is there any question? Okay. And yeah, we would like to move taint-based eviction to beta. I don't think that there has been much update with regards to that, or Ravi or Ray. If any of you guys have updates on that, I doubt it, but if you have any updates on that, have you guys started working on it yet or not? I don't know if Ravi's actually here.
Yeah, no, I need to talk to Ravi to see how we can allocate the work item here, but I haven't talked to him yet. So
yeah, that's what I guessed as well. Okay, we should start basically planning on that. Actually, given Ravi has let's see. Actually, I thought he was also working on one another. Okay, he's not. Okay, I was going to say if Ravi has many items, we can give this to you, but looks like he doesn't have that. So one other thing that we would like to do is to deprecate critical pod annotation. That's hopefully not a large effort. We can deprecate that in 1.13 and get rid of it at some point in the future. I know that Wei has been working on supporting interpod affinity to more than one pod. So the idea here is that currently, basically, in the current implementation of interpod affinity, we expect one pod to satisfy all the affinity terms. So an affinity rule, basically, sort of the affinity on a pod, can have multiple terms. So these terms are described as a label selector, a namespace, and then some topology. And we expected multiple of these terms to be satisfied by one pod. The reason that we decided to do this initially was the fact that inter-pod affinity was very complex and very time-consuming. So it was, as a result, it was very slow. And if you wanted to support multiple pod matching, it would have become even much, much slower. With the new implementation, however, we think that we can support it much more easily. Basically support multiple pods matching the interpod affinity of an incoming pod. And Wei actually made the changes. I'm going to review again. So hopefully, actually, I've already looked at your PR, Wei, but I will have to go and take another look. And I think
I will also add some extra test cases. So right now the design is kind of actually it introduced a limitation on the total number of affinity terms. So because I want to reduce the time complexity and the space complexity by using an unsigned int 64 to record which index of the affinity match on a topology key. So finally I will kind of use a bitwise OR calculation on individual items. So that is could reduce the time complexity. So I'm not sure if this limitation makes sense to you.
Actually, I was looking at your PR and I wasn't so sure why we needed that. But anyway, to be honest with you, I don't think that anyone will put like a very large number of these affinity terms. And the reason that I'm saying that is that it becomes very soon out of hand or out of capacity of humans to understand what is going on. If you put 1,000 affinity terms on a single pod, then almost nobody understands what is going on and whether the pod can be scheduled or not. Yeah. So I don't expect the number of terms to be very large. So we shouldn't optimize for it. I think we should always optimize for the affinity terms to be only several, maybe always less than 10. and that will probably cover 99.9% of the cases. I really doubt if people will go ahead and add a lot more than that. Actually, so far we've seen that almost all the cases use only one affinity term. So we shouldn't be really worried about having a large number of them. Anyway, I don't want to dive into the details because a lot of people here don't know what we're exactly talking about. But we will continue the discussion on the PR. Okay, so there is one item which is not assigned to anyone yet. Actually, that item is building a new test library for building scheduler benchmarks. We currently have some scheduler benchmarks which are part of our integration tests, and these benchmarks are rather hard-coded and rigid, I would call. They're very specific and they are written in a very specific way, and the number of nodes and pods and everything in those benchmarks is very fixed, very much fixed and hard-coded. So one thing that I was thinking about was basically creating a library that would allow us to build these benchmarks more easily. One particular aspect that I would like to see for those benchmarks is to build new benchmarks for our various features that we are adding to the scheduler to measure their impact on performance. And our current platform and the libraries that we have do not really support adding benchmarks easily. So that's one thing that we need to do. I sometimes feel like this is something that I need to do myself, so building the integration test library, mostly because I have something in my head and I cannot really put it on paper what exactly we need. I have just some ideas. Maybe I'll start working on that a little bit, and then maybe I can use some of you folks' help to pursue it further.
I think maybe we can open an issue for this item, so give you draft idea, because I think this idea only lists in this slide, in this slides, and the other people didn't join this meeting, didn't know this item.
That's a good point, right? Yeah. Sure. I will create an issue for this. These were actually pretty much all the updates that I have for you in this meeting. If you guys have questions or want to report progress on any of your projects, please go ahead.
Sorry?
I was saying that if you have any questions or comments or want to give updates on your projects, please go ahead.
The Kubernetes part.
Okay.
Yes. Some item as a Kubernetes part, I think there. I started a thread about the new name of Kubernetes. Yeah, I think maybe Kubernetes is a better name for it, because it's currently it's not only a scheduler. We may cover a part of controller of pod group. Yes, I think pod group is not complete for new repo or new place. So and it's related to the batch scheduler. And yes, and we and for Kubernetes as mentioned before, this maybe give some attention to the scheduler framework for batch part. Yeah, so I think
Sure.
So when scheduler framework is ready, and we can consider how to merge current work together for one scheduler.
Yeah. Right. So what our plan for building this the framework. Basically, we are gradually building those features inside our current scheduler, and as you know, we have already some plan for building a couple of those extension points in the next release.
Yes.
Hopefully, in the next release, we will see. But we can prioritize the features that you need for batch scheduling, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you need certain features, we can prioritize building those first or before the other ones.
Sure.
With respect to kubebatchd, I don't remember if we have any other component which ends with a D. Is it for a daemon?
Oh, yes, as for daemon.
Okay.
Yes, I just follow our some components in our product as with a D. So I'm also okay with some other name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by our product, you mean the product that IBM offers, or in Kubernetes?
In IBM offer.
IBM. I see.
Yeah. For example, in RSF, we have mscheduler D. This is only focus on the scheduler part, and have MBD. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
This is not a very common, I guess, naming convention in Kubernetes. That's why I thought maybe we can.
So maybe just a cool batch.
Yeah, kubebatch sounds good. Or I don't know. I was also saying that we can call it kube co-scheduler, since it's doing co-scheduling as it's the new name apparently for gang scheduling. So that's another option. But anyway, up to you really. I don't have any strong preference one way.
Okay. Actually, right now we just use gang scheduler because gang scheduler looks more cool to me.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was saying the same thing, sort of, not necessarily because it sounds cool, but it's a very well-known keyword, really. Everybody knows. Well, I was thinking that everybody knows what gang scheduling is, so we should use gang scheduling. But it turns out that actually most people don't know what gang scheduling is, and people, given the connotation, people may think that it's something related to gangs, and I was very, very surprised that people thought that way. But anyway, so they didn't really like the name of gang in a component, so decided to go with co-scheduling as opposed to gang scheduling or gang scheduling. That was the story.
Yes, there are some comments based on the wiki from
Okay.
So first part for the new name, I'm going to rename to kubebatch. Okay. And yes, other than the for the other requirement related to batch, we are going to prioritize them to see how to when we'll implement it, or how we will going to merge to the default scheduler. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Yes.
And is it gonna be are you gonna just rename, or are you gonna create a new repository for it?
I think a rename is okay.
So basically, you're gonna rename Kube Arbitrator to kubebatch.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's gonna be in the same repository for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So we can trace the history. There are already some issue and some active here. So
yes. Good point. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. This is for the kube arbitrator and kubebatch, and there are also the other stuff in my hand is some end-to-end task here. Yeah. One end-to-end task is about daemon site upgrade. That's
yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a comment because in end-to-end task script didn't just check the number of times, but for the daemon site, there give some default toleration. Yeah, so the node number is different between the actually running and end-to-end expectation. So the title field here.
I see.
Yeah, I will cover this. I will cover this ticket today. I think just a talk with Janet. They would like to just remove the test about the tent.
I see.
Yes, because the default for now we don't have other tent than default. So I think this is safe to just remove it.
Yeah, sounds good to me too. And then so now that you said that, I reminded about the one other issue that we are seeing in upgrade tests. Actually, one of the upgrade tests is failing. And
yes, I see this. Yes, about the volume, right?
yeah, it's not it's one of the volume
Yeah.
scheduling tests, but it's not really related to volumes. It's actually the
Yeah.
fact that pods getting scheduled on a master node in some of our test environments. And
Yeah.
I really think that it's probably the fact that master node is not tainted properly in those test environments. But we need to actually verify that. But I think it's most probably the case.
Yes. I just see the comments about there, but I didn't go to the detail. Yes, I think I will put some time today on these issues, because the other one is the root cause and the fix is we already know how to fix that. That's still going to be simple to easier to do that. And then I will put some time on this one. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Have
you.
some logging and to see what happened.
Yes, sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, I think this is the major task in my hand recently.
Right.
Did I miss? Did I miss the? Oh, I think there another issue is bin packing policy. Yes, I'm reviewing that's one.
What about that? So
Scale resource bin packing.
Oh, scale resource bin packing. Yeah.
I'm reviewing. I'm do some review of this this pull request. I think we can handle. We can include this in next release. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to actually take a look at that as well.
Yeah.
It's a little, we need to make sure that we get the API correctly, because it makes sense to have such a priority function. At the same time, we need to make sure that the scarce resources are defined or are marked clearly in our API.
Yes. It will publish some API about the configuration and what's the scarce resource it take care about. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments from other folks?
Yeah, Bobby.
Hey.
I have some about the scheduling framework. Maybe I missed something. Yeah. I want to say any other documents about the scheduling framework detail, such as you may can list some to do about this.
Oh, are you thinking about helping us with building the framework?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't have any further documents on what we want to do exactly, but in a PR that I have written, there are some items in a PR, particularly in our development plan or plan for development. Something there is a section called plan for development, I think, or development plan. So in that section, it mentions some of the items there, right? So it actually tells what we need to build basically in the first phase. That's there, but there is one kind of like missing piece in this design, and that's finding the interface for the plugins. So basically, the framework will always call the plugins expecting a certain interface, right? So it always, for example, passes, I don't know, a scheduler cache maybe and some other a pod and some of this information. So we haven't figured out what that interface should be, right? And that's an important piece that we need to figure out. So that's why I haven't actually gone much further to ask people to help us build the framework. But what I feel we should be, I should probably do with the help of community, we finalize that interface, maybe in a PR or something, and then we can open up to the next phases of building the plugin points and extension points for updating the cache of the scheduler. That's what I have actually put in the development plan. We want to build those extension points around the scheduler cache update. So basically, the very first thing we need to do, finding that interface, and then going to the next phases of building the extension points. Once that interface is defined clearly, then I can use your help actually to go for the next phases.
Okay, makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry, I have a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. First thing is there are two features that are in alpha stage. One is a priority function which actually takes limits on the pod, which was alphaed by, which was in alpha stage that was created by Avesh some time ago. I do not know if we could push it to beta in the next release in 1.13.
Is it the priority function that ensures that the limit also fits on a node?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. I think so. I think it makes sense to have that priority function. I don't have any objections really. Of course, we must ensure that we have proper tests and everything for it. And we should probably give it a lower weight compared to many other priority functions, such as, I don't know, affinity, anti-affinity, and I don't know, you should actually go and look at some of these, or maybe image locality and some of this stuff. So we should give it proper weight, but otherwise, yes, I am fine with that.
Yeah. The other feature that I want to talk about is balanced resource allocation. So like a couple of releases ago, I have created a PR which actually includes the number of volumes on the node to be included for balanced resource allocation.
Yeah.
I would like to push that to beta because we have some use cases for that at Red Hat, especially in the online environment. So those two features would be like useful for us. So I would like to push them to beta.
Okay. So by pushing them to beta, do you want them to be enabled by default in the scheduler, or you just want to basically push them to beta so that we will have backward compatibility and stuff?
I think balanced resource allocation is already included, but I have a feature gate enabled, which actually stops this particular functionality in balanced resource allocation to be used.
I see. I see. Okay.
Like we can.
So for that, I am fine, but just as we add more priority functions, we should be aware of their performance impact, right? And that's why actually we need those libraries so that we can build scheduler performance or performance benchmarks.
Yeah, so, actually we had a discussion about that during the last meeting, and I kind of told that in the scheduler perf, there is a way to add or mutate pod spec and node spec so that we can have variable labels, including the priority and predicate functions that we could add or remove. I did not develop it completely, but it has some initial ideas that I had in my mind at that point of time. And I initially thought that I would work with the community because I already had like 2 or 3 items that I could work on.
Yeah.
But if you have something in your mind, I would be more than happy to work with you. And if anyone else is interested.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, for the purpose of that particular priority function, I think we need to ensure that the performance is there. That's one thing. And actually, if you think you can build some benchmarks with the existing code that we have, that'll be great. Otherwise, I don't know. We should ensure that the performance is there by other means. Maybe building some other tests similar to whatever we have, which is kind of like semi-manual, building new benchmarks for the features, and as you said, enabling and disabling some of these priority functions and see their effects.
Yeah, sure. Like I think I can do it from the existing testing framework, but I have to look at the code a bit more, sure. And then I'll get back to you.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any other questions?
just one minor update for me is my boss is pushing me to do some documentation, blogging, prepare some materials for scheduling workshops. So one thing I'm trying to do is to kind of summarize all stuff related with how to customize the schedulers. I'll list maybe all the ways to customize that and put them together with some samples like that. Yeah.
To customize the scheduler?
Yeah, both, for example, using the schedule API and also using the extender mechanism and putting things together. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah. Documentations are always welcome. All right. Is there any other question, comments, updates?
So last time I signed up for the pod scheduling policy. I don't know how to proceed on that. Should I just wait for the community PR to merge the feature design, or what should I do?
So yeah, so as I said, Yassine has been working on this. I don't know if you have been in touch with Yassine about how you guys want to split the work, or have you talked with him?
No, I haven't reached out to him. So should I just probably like start a thread on Slack or email or something?
Yeah, whichever works for you, really. So as long as you two folks know exactly how you want to split the work, it should be fine with me, and we should basically ensure that we can we can make the deadlines basically. So right now the design doc is not finalized, of course. So it will still take some time until we are fully finalizing it. I think we are almost there, but you know how things work.
Right.
We need to ensure that everybody agrees and everything. So it usually takes days. So hopefully in the next few days we can finalize that, and then we can start thinking about the next phase, which is implementing some of the features. So at that point, you should basically talk with Yassine. And actually, there is no harm in talking to him earlier. So you can actually reach out to him and see what his plans and schedule for building the pod scheduling policies, and if he is open to working with you on building those. And hopefully there is, I'm pretty sure there is a lot of work for more than one person.
Okay, cool. I'll reach out to him then and we can go from there. Sounds good.
Sounds good. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. We are already 5 minutes over time. So is there any other questions, comments? All right. Let's finish this meeting. I'll see some of you folks next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.